that very soon we will all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem.
And then last night, Byron Stinson posted a video.
This was the first red heifer sacrifice in over 2,000 years.
The red heifer people, they fooled everybody, and they successfully performed the ritual. Some of the ashes right here.
Something happened in Jerusalem that almost no one believed would ever occur again. A ritual older than every kingdom that ever rose and fell has just taken place. Quietly, yet with a force that has already shaken prophecy circles around the world. For the first time in more than 2,000 years, a red heifer ritual has been completed. Not talked about, not planned, completed. The ashes now exist, real, physical, ready for use. And the moment they were prepared, something shifted. Because according to ancient writings, these ashes are not just for purity, they are tied to the final steps before the rise of the third temple.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
This wasn't a reenactment. It wasn't symbolic. It was the exact ritual described in Scripture, performed overlooking the Temple Mount. But the detail that has experts on edge isn't the ritual itself. It's what the ashes now make possible. Long before temples were destroyed, long before nations fought over the same hill, there was a command given in the book of Numbers, one so unusual that even ancient rabbis called it a mystery without a clear reason. A red heifer, perfect, unblemished, not a single white or black hair, never worked, never yoked, a creature so rare that history records fewer than 10 ever meeting the standard. Its ashes were the key to one thing no other ritual could fix, the deepest form of impurity, the impurity linked to death itself. Without those ashes, no one could be considered clean enough to enter sacred space. That's why the ritual mattered. It wasn't just symbolic purity, it was permission. Permission to step closer to the presence of God. Permission to enter the temple. Permission to restart ancient worship. For thousands of years, this command stood frozen in time. No heifer, no ashes, no way to complete the law. But hidden inside this ancient ritual is a clue pointing to something even greater. After the Second Temple fell in 70 CE, the world changed, and so did the future of the red heifer. With the temple gone, there was no place to use the ashes. With no ashes left, there was no way to restore purity. And without purity, no one could ever be prepared for the temple again. Then the heifers themselves vanished. Generations passed, empires rose and collapsed. The command remained, but the means to fulfill it was gone. Many believed the red heifer would never return, that it was locked behind history, waiting only for the Messiah to act. For 2,000 years, the prophecy sat silent. No cow, no ashes, no path forward. But that silence didn't last forever, because something unexpected happened far from Jerusalem, on land no one imagined would play a role in prophecy. The quiet shift began years before anyone noticed it. On ranches in Texas, a small group started raising heifers under strict rules. No tagging, no branding, no procedures that could leave a mark. They were searching for something that hadn't existed for centuries, a perfect red heifer.
And out of all the calves born there, a few qualified. Not almost, not close, qualified. In 2025, one of those rare heifers was brought to Jerusalem, and on July 1st, on the Mount of Olives, where ancient law said the ritual must be done, a team carried out the full ceremony. It wasn't symbolic. It wasn't a reenactment for tourists. It followed the biblical orders step by step. The heifer was sacrificed, burned, reduced to ash. And when those ashes were gathered, the world crossed a line it hadn't seen since the days of the temple. But the ritual didn't happen on its own. Someone made it possible. Behind this moment stood two figures who refused to let the ancient command stay buried in the past. The first was Byron Stinson, the man who searched through ranch after ranch to find heifers that met every rule: no marks, no blemishes, and not a single hair out of place. He spent years hunting for something most people believed didn't exist anymore. Beside him was Rabbi Arteria O'Rule, a leader with deep knowledge of temple law. His role wasn't just to watch, it was to make sure every part of the ritual matched the exact words written thousands of years ago. Together, they formed an unlikely connection: a rancher and a rabbi, working toward a task many said was impossible. But they weren't alone. A powerful organization had already prepared tools, training, and a plan long before the ritual began. An organization with one mission and one destination. For many, the red heifer isn't just an ancient law. It's a countdown marker, one tied to the rise of the Third Temple and the arrival of the Messianic Age. Jewish writings say that only 9 perfect red heifers existed from the time of Moses to the fall of the Second Temple. The 10th, according to tradition, would appear in the era of the Messiah. So when news spread that a qualified heifer was sacrificed and its ashes prepared, it didn't stay a quiet event. It sent a wave of excitement and fear into communities across the world. Because these ashes do more than purify. They remove the one barrier that has stopped priests, worship, and temple service for 2,000 years. For some, that means hope, a step toward restoring what was lost. For others, it signals a shift in prophecy, one that unlocks events long believed to come in the final days. But the meaning becomes even stronger when you look at the ritual took place and why that location matters so much. The ritual wasn't performed on the Temple Mount itself. It couldn't be. Ancient law required the red heifer ceremony to happen outside the sacred area, but still facing it, with a clear line of sight straight toward the place where the Holy of Holies once stood. There is only one spot in Jerusalem where that alignment is perfect: the Mount of Olives. That hill has carried layers of prophecy for thousands of years. It's the place linked to purification, to return, and in many traditions, to the moment the Messiah steps onto the earth. Standing there, the priests could look directly toward the Temple Mount as the ritual unfolded, just as the command described long ago. But choosing this location wasn't only symbolic, it was strategic. It created a prophetic bridge between what once stood and what could rise again. But the most critical part of the ceremony wasn't the place, it was what came from the fire. When the fire was lit, every step had to follow the ancient rules with exact precision. The heifer was burned whole, mixed with cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet thread, materials named word for word in the Old Command. Nothing could touch the ashes unless it was allowed. Nothing could fall out of order. When the flames died down, what remained was gathered carefully and sealed away. These ashes weren't just dust. They were a key, one that had been missing for 20 centuries. With them, priests can be purified. With them, temple service can restart. With them, the next step in prophecy becomes possible. But the question that rises now isn't about the ashes. It's about the people who have been preparing for this moment for decades. For years, one group in Jerusalem has been quietly rebuilding what no one thought would return: the vessels, garments, and training needed for a future temple. The Temple Institute has crafted the menorah, the altars, the priestly robes, and even mapped out how a new temple could function in the modern world. Their goal has never been hidden: restore the ancient service when the time is right. So when the red heifer ashes were prepared, it wasn't a surprise to them. It was a signal, a missing piece now placed on the board. And once that piece is set, the next move becomes far more serious. Now that the ashes exist, the conversations around Jerusalem have shifted, not in public speeches, not in official statements, but in quiet rooms where plans are studied, maps are opened, and old texts are read with new eyes. Because with purity restored, one barrier that blocked temple service for 2,000 years has been removed. Only one question hangs in the air. What happens next? Some believe the third temple could rise soon. Others fear that even talking about it could ignite conflict across the region. Yet the momentum is building, step by step, and every sign points toward a moment no one can ignore. The ashes are ready, the tools are ready, the priests are trained. And now, after centuries of silence, prophecy has shifted from waiting to moving. But the next event in this timeline isn't a ritual. It's something far bigger, something already stirring beneath the surface of the Temple Mount.